This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. Major news alert, PTG. This episode is brought to you by HK Army, and they are offering the deal of a lifetime with $20 cases of paint to anyone attending the NXL Las Vegas from March 8th to the 10th. And that means any teams, regardless of sponsorship, can get level 5 exclusive tournament paint for only $20 per case, and the new formula is fire. HK Army is doing what they can to make paintballs more cost-effective for you in Las Vegas, and all you got to do is hit up my boy, Chad Yaya Boucher, who is the new sponsorship coordinator for HK Army, to reserve your paint today. Email him right now at chad@hkarmy.com. That's CHAD at hkarmy.com to let him know you want $20 cases of paint at NXL Las Vegas. Once again, that is Chad at hkarmy.com. And do not wait. Reserve your paint right now before it's gone. Let's go, PTG Nation. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for the tremendous support with the PTG show. If you are enjoying these episodes and want to help with the progress and development of this program and connect with like-minded, hungry paintball players, then head on over to ptgpodcast.com, click the orange Patreon link, and become a member of the PTG World Discord chat room. And now back to the show.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us. This episode is just Tyler and myself. We go over the NXL layout, how our practices went, and really just kind of talk about a schedule for this next week. We hope to see you guys in Vegas. Hope you guys are going to be out there supporting, competing, having fun, and definitely hope we see you at the award show Sunday night. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
What up, PTG Nation? Welcome to another amazing episode. I'm reporting live from Las Vegas. It is Vegas week. It's tournament week, and we got Marcello, we got Mantis. We're doing another show. Marchie is in San Diego right now, right?
Yes, sir. Flying out in a couple hours here, so I will be heading your way soon.
Yes. And it's going to be beautiful weather out here in Las Vegas. We're looking forward to seeing everybody. I know everybody's making the long journey out here, some making the short journey from the West Coast, which is kind of cool to have Vegas back on the circuit. It's been 4 years since we've been out here, so we're all really excited to be here.
Yeah, dude, I'm incredibly excited to have an event back in Las Vegas here on the West Coast. We finally don't have to fly all the way across the country for an event. The closest one for us has been Texas, which is still like, 2.5, 3 hour flight. I feel like all the East Coast teams always benefit from, it's like an hour away, like, oh man, it takes me a full day to get there, and traveling is a little brutal, but you are right. I was looking at the weather, Ty. Weather looks absolutely perfect this weekend. It's going to be incredible. I mean, it's going to be like 65, 70, sunny, just really nice. Knock on wood. Let's not jinx anything. Hopefully no crazy monsoon storms roll through. But it's looking fantastic. That's like perfect paintball weather. 65 and sunny is nice.
Yeah.
Crisp.
And in the desert, it's deceiving because you would think, oh, that's cold. But when the sun comes out, for some reason in the desert, it's almost like the sun is a little bit closer. So it's going to feel like 70, it's going to feel like some high 70s. It's going to be really nice. And everyone is excited for the event. It's obviously a pretty wild layout. It's this spiral kind of Texas throwback from a couple years ago. So we're really excited to get out there and play. And I think it's going to be held in a different part of Craig Ranch Park, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Different part. I guess some of that park is under construction, but I got tons of videos from the actual venue yesterday. It looks pretty good. It's
Yeah.
flat. Flat's nice. It's not super green, but that's okay. If you remember, like Vegas was always. I kind of thought that was a cool thing about the Vegas
Yeah.
event. On Go Sports, it was like a different color. You see other sports like certain terrain, certain parks are like they have their own little thing. I actually thought the Philly event was really cool to film because it was a different type. The first Philly event,
Yeah.
that was the Dust Bowl. The only issue there was that it wasn't even right, but the fact that it was like mostly dirt or even like brown grass, I think it's a cool aesthetic. And it's still better to dive on than most of the stuff we're practicing on. So that's a bonus.
Yeah, and we're still playing on grass. I mean, don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
gonna be
100%.
really nice. There's also going to be after the tournament at the Sahara from March 11th to the 13th. They're having a Summit Industry kind of party for all of the companies and like a trade show. So if you're interested in staying even longer after the tournament, they're going to be doing some fun stuff over at the Sahara, and you can check all that out at nxlpaintball.com. They have a ton of info on that for you.
Yeah, for sure. NXLpaintball.com, MajorLeaguePaintball.com. I think they have all the info up on all the sites, so you can't miss it. The Summit thing is going to be really cool. I wish I was staying for that. Unfortunately, I have to get back. But I will be there for the award show Sunday night, obviously. That is going to be awesome. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Ty, let's talk about the layout right now, because that's been the hot topic. We obviously both just had our practices this weekend. How was it for you guys? Who did you guys practice? Where were you? I'm sure you guys were out at your home field, Wasteland, but
Yes.
what was going on out there?
Yeah, shout out to Wasteland Paintball in Texas. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out. They're building, I think they're going to get some rec ball and possibly another turf field out there. And we had Blast Camp and we had the Bears out there running around. The field is amazing, really fun, creative layout. I love what the NXL has done with this one. There's a lot of options, and it's a little bit different than the Texas one. The Texas one had different bunkers in mirrored positions, whereas this one has similar style bunkers in mirrored positions, a little bit different placement, obviously, because the field's counterbalanced. But I really appreciate the way that they kind of kept it symmetrical with the asymmetrical all at the same time. It's got a really fun flow to it, and anybody who played it knows that there's a lot of movement all over the place, through the middle, on the sides, a lot of creativity, and tons of snake beams. It's snake goodness out there.
There's so many snake beams.
It's snake heaven.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, look, again, I people think that I'm a really tough critic on this, and I want to be very clear that it's not necessarily about how it plays. I mean, a paintball field is a paintball field. To me, the most frustrating thing about it has been how you're going to talk about this. So, when I commented, I didn't think it was going to get so much engagement. I just commented, you've got to be kidding me, when they released the layout on Instagram, and like that comment blew up. But I was looking at that from the perspective of the commentators and how we're going to present this thing, right? We wear a lot of different hats, Tyler. We talk about it all the time. And obviously being here, part of the show, a big goal of ours is how we're going to move this game forward. And I know this year we're trying to get the sport in front of more eyes than ever. I know people want to pitch this to ESPN and Sports Center, Netflix. We're trying to really package this thing. So that's where my initial, it's not about, because I see other comments like, oh, Dynasty is going to struggle on this one, or Marcelo doesn't like playing. It has really nothing to do with playing. I mean, it's a field. You can figure out how to play the field. I do actually think that there's less options on a field like this, because there's literally less options. Each side is the same, so you have teams that are kind of doing a similar thing on both sides of the field, but that does create for its own unique perspective, because it seems like everyone's going to go really strong right-handed, but then there's the counterbalance of when you do attack down the other side, the left-handed side, which, we're calling the Dorito side. And we'll get into like how teams should approach talking about this amongst each other, because I think that's going to be really important to people's success on this field. That's the first thing. Like all the pros, they're like, well, it's hard to even have meetings about this layout, right? Because you're saying like, he was in the snake, but well, which snake? And, if you're going to the Aztec on the right-hand side, you're mirrored up, because you're right. The bunkers are almost deceiving that it's like the same kind of bunker on the other side of the field, and it's just off by a little bit. You initially want to call that the same thing, but it's not. It's the other side of the field. So you have to orientate yourself in that manner to be able to have these conversations. And I think, the really intelligent teams, that was probably the first thing they did. They're like, all right, how are we going to talk about this field so that we don't confuse one another when not only when we're on the field, but when we're off the field and we're talking about game plans and where the other team went. And it's kind of funny. You'll like say something, you'll be like, oh no, it makes sense if we call it like the lefty, and everything makes sense in your mind. And then like 30 seconds later, it sneaks up on you. It's like, oh wait, no, that doesn't make sense, because what if they go to yours and you're like, oh shit, yeah, that doesn't make sense. So it's like, they definitely threw a wrench in things in that regard, which, I don't know. Again, from a commentator's perspective, that's been my biggest issue, is how we're going to talk about this. You don't want people that are watching the webcast to be confused. We've spent decades kind of establishing sides and Dorito side, snake side in the middle. That doesn't mean that can't ever change. We've spent more than, decades establishing a mirrored field, which means that teams have integrated certain codes that are, congruent to one side. And I believe that any time in a sport you do something that completely confuses all of the top professionals, I don't know that that's like great. I don't know that that's a good thing. So that's, again, I want to just kind of clarify what my comment meant, right? It's like a football game. You're not randomly going to go and say, okay, well, this game, you know what? Guess what? Touchdowns are worth 9 points and field goals are worth 4 points, right? Because now it changes the entire strategy. And so that's just I think it's a weird thing. You're not going to, eventually, and then, also not to mention, now you have like Dorito players that are playing left-handed the entire time. And I understand the argument. You should be able to play both hands. I'm pretty good with both hands. But anyone that is not ambidextrous, that says that they are as good with their non-dominant hand as their dominant hand, is just wrong. It's just not possible. Like, it's just not the way things work. That's why, like, Patrick Mahomes, trust me, he could dump off with his non-dominant hand. He could throw short passes. He could, dish it out. Steph Curry can shoot floaters, layups, finish at the rim with his non-dominant hand. But he's not going to be shooting 3-pointers with his non-dominant hand. And he's not Patrick Mahomes is going to be throwing a precision bomb with his non-dominant hand. So, are you going to see like a little less action from, Dorito guys? I don't know. But again, I just want to clarify where my comment was coming from. It's not about playing it. It is fun. We actually had a blast on the field. It was really fun. And it was way more dynamic than I originally thought it was going to be. And it's its own unique puzzle. So I do appreciate that. I hope that it doesn't cause any issues in the commentator's booth.
Yeah, it's definitely like a brain buster out there a little bit, but that's what adds to the excitement of it. And You're right. It's going to be interesting to watch the world's best players on the snake side go up against the world's best players on the Dorito side. And every single point, one of them is right-handed and one is left-handed. It'll be interesting to watch that. Because there is a certain dynamic that comes along with that. So it's going to be curious to see the field spiral as well, like we did see in Texas, because that's just what it does, and that's what we saw in Texas. Is it's almost like it's like a universal spiral.
Ring around the rosy. Yeah. Ring around the rosy. And that happened a lot at our practice. Like, teams would get deep into both snakes, right? And they would almost have the same field position on each side. But then there was no next step. Like, there wasn't really a place, because there was a really good spot you can go to kind of lock down the other team's snake side from, coming to your Dorito. It was that little W, right? I'm sure that's no secret. You could just kind of sit there, and it's really hard to dig that player out. So you would have, we had like some 6-8 minute points at practice, right? So if that's happening at practice, my goodness, I think that could mean it's really going to slow down at the event. Now, the one thing that I think will speed things up is I think there's a lot of opportunity to shoot people off the break. So if you get a couple kills on the break, those points are really fast. We had some, 30-second points as well. So with, good tournament grade paint, refs, all that, I think because of that, you could see some really quick points. But if it's 5-on-5 on this field, it could be a little longer. Could be a little longer.
And you guys were up in Sacktown, is that right? Out at Capital Edge Paintball?
Yeah, we had Impact out there and Infamous. And my goodness, dude, Ty, we got so lucky. Looking at the forecast is funny. When Travis was reaching out to us about practice, he originally wanted to be in Southern California, but we almost always go up to NorCal for layout weekend, play Impact a lot, or we'll go out to Texas and play X Factor. It just kind of makes sense given where all of our guys are. And I was like, no, let's go up north. And Travis is like, that time of the year, it's kind of risky. And I'm like, no, it's usually fine. You know, it's usually good. It's going to be good. It's going to be fine. You know, we'll have a good practice because Impact won't travel. They're not going anywhere, right? And they're a good practice for us. We always want to make sure to get some looks against them. And, you know, sure enough, he's like, all right, well, I'll trust you. We'll book our stuff. We'll go up north. And then, so I'm checking the weather, like, you know, 3-4 weeks out, and it's looking beautiful. It's like 70 degrees, sunny, gorgeous. And as we get closer, there's like a scattered day of rain. I'm like, okay, you know, not bad. It's looking okay. And then as we get closer, all of a sudden, atmospheric, you know, rainfall coming through. They had like the gnarliest storm they've had in a decade up in like the Tahoe Sierra region. They got like 10 inches of snow, 10 feet of snow. Sorry, not inches, like 10 feet of snow in some places. And it was literally rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. And, you know, we got lucky. It like mostly rained overnight, you know, during the day it was kind of cold, little drizzly on and off, but we had a phenomenal practice. So really like kind of dodged a bullet there. I was like, you know, as soon as I saw Travis too, we just started laughing. I was like, dude, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. But it ended up being a good practice. So
good. Yeah, I saw the fire pits. You know, people are keeping the hands warm and stuff because it gets pretty cold up in NorCal.
Yeah, I mean, it's cold and it's when you're wet, right?
Yeah.
It's once you get wet and it's cold out, that's the bummer. You know, 60 degrees, 50 degrees isn't bad at all when you're not wet. But when you're wet, you're diving around and then the wind starts blowing. You're like, all right, it's a little chilly.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly.
Some great media. There's some cool
it does.
videos and stuff like that of you guys splashing around out there.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next point is how proud I am of so many people out there who have worked their asses off throughout this quote unquote off season. You know, there really is no off season. You keep working the whole time, but it's cool to see people in our community, PTG world, in the chat rooms, really boosting each other, seeing it all over the social medias, people gritting it out through the winter time and, you know, wherever they're at in the country, working hard in the gym, doing all the things necessary so that when they show up, they can be the best version of themselves for the tournament. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who supports us in the chat rooms and is in there boosting everybody. And just thank you to everybody working their butts off to be ready for the season. It's cool to see that.
Yeah, 100%. I could not agree more. And, you know, again, shout out to Cyrus, one of the GOATs in PTG. Yeah. He's going to be making his pro debut with PB Fit. So I'm excited to watch him play. Dude literally, you know, upped and moved out of Florida, drove to Texas, living there full time, playing 4 or 5 days a week. So you got to love that story. Definitely rooting for him to do well. Excited to see how really that whole team does.
Heck yeah, we get to play them on Saturday. I'm looking forward to going toe-to-toe with Fit. They're a strong organization, and, you know, they looked amazing last season, so I'm sure they're going to fare well in the pro division. And talk about work ethic, right? They've been working really hard, and that's what it takes. If you're going to make those leaps and get to the pro division, you cannot cut corners. You got to be doing everything in your power to be, like we said, the best version of yourself when you step onto that field, that you're prepared to go. So we're going to be, and I guess we could kind of dive into our brackets. We've got, obviously, Houston Heat and Dynasty. You guys will be playing in the later time slots at 2:15 and 4:15. And you guys will be playing Diesel and Legion on Friday. And then on Saturday, you'll have Blast Camp and X Factor.
Hell of a bracket.
Yeah, no shit.
Hell of a bracket. You know, it's interesting. Diesel, Legion, Blast Camp, and X Factor. The way that kind of happens is they do the draw, right? So you have teams that are in each tier and they do like a random draw. So you can kind of get a situation like this where you get the best of each, which, hey, whoever makes it out of this bracket is going to be really prepared for Sunday paintball. You got to get right into it and be sharp from day one. So I love that. It does sound like Jason is also considering changing how that's done too, though. He's considering changing the random draw to it basically being on seeding. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the boss says is what I do. You know what I mean? I just say, yes, sir. Whatever you say, bro.
Well, he did ask all the teams to vote on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
think
curious.
If you do like, some type of seeding, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, I guess. I always thought this made sense. I like the way he did this. He did it so that teams couldn't fix games. because you couldn't like if you guaranteed if you were the last team to play and you knew that you were in third place instead of first place, if you were in third place, you knew you were going to play a worse team, you could essentially fix that last game. So that was the reason he introduced it. But I don't know. I'm indifferent. Doesn't really matter. I agree. Whatever he says on that. And that was actually my response, was it doesn't really matter. I don't think it matters.
You're going to play all these people no matter
Yeah,
what. So
exactly.
it's going to go down.
Yeah, it's going to go down 100%. What I think is cool about it is you'll never have like the top two teams playing each other until the finals.
Yeah.
So that part's cool. I think that's great. Sometimes I think teams match up a little too soon in the prelim, or not in the prelims, in the quarterfinals and semifinals, when really that should be the final match. Especially when you get to World Cup, yeah. So either way, either or. I love that they're constantly trying to improve, innovate, make things more exciting, and that's solid. That's good.
Yep. And then Houston Heat will be playing Uprising, ML Kings or they're Miami now, right? The Miami Kings.
The Miami Kings
on Friday, and then on Saturday we'll have Fit and Revo, and those will be at 9:15 and 11:15. So we have the morning bracket. Okay,
nice. Yeah. Should be a little chilly in the morning. How do you guys plan to take care of the paint at those times? That's something I saw. There's games I think as early as like 6 a.m., 7:15 on the pro field. So some teams have some incredibly early games, and paint is absolutely going to be a concern at that time because it's just really, really cold. Tournament paint's brittle. So can you advise like what your team does to manage the paint and make sure that, everything's good to go?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have the best pit crew in the world, and shout out to HK Army for providing us with that new bright pink ball. And if you haven't already, they're selling it for $20 a box. So go and snag some of that. It's amazing. You have to still incorporate a cooler, whether it's hot or cold. You got to keep that paint at a good temperature, and then also being mindful of, not having it just sitting out in the elements, those kinds of things. When you open a bag, making sure that it's not just sitting there open to the air. And this is something that we talk about religiously on PTG about paint management. And then just, going out there and shooting the paint, testing the paint, getting it bored correctly, all the details that need to be lined up so that when you step into the arena, your gun's firing and the paint's flying.
Yeah, getting it bored correctly is huge, especially if it's really brittle and cold. If it's any bit too big, you're going to get barrel breaks. I recommend going and testing your paint an hour before the game at least, and make sure everyone shoots, a bunch of it through the guns. See if it's, too brittle. If it is too brittle, you might want to open bags and warm it up in the car. That's been a trick we've used in the past. If it's too cold, you open the bags, you put it in the car and warm it up. First, I would see if you can get a different batch, and if that'll work. If not, the old heater in the car trick works, because there's nothing worse than having flamethrowers out there.
Yeah, and I love what you said about shooting a lot of it. Don't just shoot a hopper and think that it's going to be okay. Yeah. Shoot 4 or 5 hoppers, shoot a half a case, whatever you need to do to really get a good feel for what the paint's going to do out there.
Yeah, and again, you want to don't do it, Thursday at practice when it's middle of the day and it's warm. You need to do it before your game early in the morning. So I know it's a bummer. You got to get there a little early, maybe send somebody. But this kind of stuff makes all the difference, right? You just want to make sure your team's prepared, give yourself the best chance to succeed out there.
Yeah, it's imperative for your success. And I guess we could dive into some, everyone's going to be in Las Vegas. They're going to be wanting to have fun. Obviously, at the pro level, we're here on a mission of mercy to whoop ass and do our thing. But a lot of the divisional players, they want to have fun things to do at night.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it'd be a fun thing to kind of go over some of the cool things that you could get into in Las Vegas. I know everybody probably knows about the Sphere. They just built that thing. So
that thing is so sick, dude.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge too. I didn't realize how big it was.
Massive.
I looked at it, I was like, oh my God.
What's crazy is I feel like you can see it from like everywhere in Vegas. Like there'll be like a little street that you're walking, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's the Sphere. It's like you open your window in the hotel. Oh, there's the Sphere. It's massive.
And it's sometimes they have that big smiley face on it, and it's watching you everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. They also have Top Golf over by the MGM.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can get into some Top Golf over there. They've got the Sphere, I think the High Roller is that huge Ferris wheel.
Yep. The high
that you
roller.
can check out. That thing's really cool. It's one of the biggest Ferris wheels, I think, in the world, if I'm not mistaken. It's massive.
The Ferris wheel?
Yeah, the High Roller.
Oh, I didn't know that. It is pretty big though. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's massive. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's really crazy. Obviously, you got the pool parties. Everyone knows there's pool parties in Vegas.
Stay away from all that madness. Are there pool parties right now?
I don't know. I'm just saying in general, there's typically, I'm sure they do have heated pool parties. Still,
Probably.
You know, they're not shortcutting anybody out here for the fun.
It's true.
Then Cirque du Soleil is an amazing show. If you've never seen a Cirque du Soleil show, I highly recommend checking one of those out. The Grand Canyon is also not too far away. So you could get into the Grand Canyon. I know they do tours. And then, as always, they got the comedy, the magic, all the, singers and artists and everybody out here. So there's a lot of fun stuff to do for everyone who's flying in, making the most out of their trip to Vegas and competing and having fun. And it's going to be a really cool weekend out here. So we cannot wait to see everybody ripping it, having fun, enjoying themselves for the first event of the season. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, 100%, Ty. There's a lot to do in Vegas, and you brought up the Grand Canyon. Something that's a little closer, a little easier, and also really cool is Death Valley, which is it's like a 30-minute drive, and it takes about an hour to drive through, but it is gorgeous, and it's on the northern side, I believe. So if you have a chance to go see that, it is really cool. And I think the Grand Canyon, I mean, that's epic. If you have time to see the Grand Canyon, if you have a full extra day or something, definitely do that. But if you want something kind of quick, see some sights, Death Valley being right there is really cool. And also I highly recommend downtown Las Vegas, so if you are staying on the Strip, obviously the Strip is awesome, but the venue is closer to northern Las Vegas, closer to downtown Las Vegas. That's like Fremont Street, kind of old school. It's the old school Strip, but they've revamped everything, and there's lots of nice little restaurants. There's actually, everybody that listens is probably aware that the family has ventured into the pizza business with Slice House. A sister location is called Pizza Rock, and it's out there in downtown Las Vegas. It's like the restaurant version of what we have, but it's the same exact pizza. It's a really cool vibe. Some of the best pizza you're ever gonna have in your life is there, right there in northern Las Vegas. Our family doesn't have anything to do with that location other than it's the same like main guy, Tony Gimignani, that owns all of the spots. So the same master chef. But highly recommend that. They have like this really cool zip line thing that goes through Fremont Street.
Yeah.
So you're like kind of going through downtown. It's really, really badass. It's not too high either. It's like 20 feet, but it's just a cool thing.
You're zipping over all the people. Like right
Yeah. So highly recommend that little downtown Las Vegas. And it's probably a little quicker and easier to stay away from some of the chaos from the Strip. I feel like the Strip could be an energy suck. I'm curious to see how many of the players that are competing are actually staying on the Strip in one of the big hotels, like the Venetian or the Wynn or something like that. Because that's also a pretty decent drive to the venue. It'll be like 30-40 minutes.
Yep, it's a good time. Everybody
It's a good time
safe out there.
Yeah. We're staying somewhere way off the Strip. We're in like a little neighborhood, and then Sunday night we'll be going to the Strip for the big party.
Yeah, we're I think like 20 minutes out from the field at this. It's literally called a compound. I think it has like 15 or 16 rooms, maybe more. I don't even know how many rooms there are. There's like 30 TVs in this thing. I might try to walk us around and like take us on a little journey here. Hopefully the Wi-Fi will be able to keep up at the end here.
Little crib style.
It's a little crazy crib style. Yeah. I'm currently looking at a pole, some type of pole that's set up here.
Some type of pole?
Yeah, I don't know what this thing is. And then there's
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Could it be a stripper pole?
I'm not sure. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. But we also have a boxing ring in the backyard. We've got some basketball in the back. There's a straight up
that's sick.
Crazy like pavilion area. So hopefully I can get us on a little tour.
Wow, that sounds epic, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Damn,
crazy.
Heat's doing it right.
It's insanity.
I thought you could only get those kind of houses in Florida.
Yeah, it's a big one. And then I do want to kind of dive back in to the layout. I had a lot of people messaging me
Yeah.
personally.
Let's see if I
about
could pull it up here.
about communicating on a layout like this. And I know it's a little bit difficult, but you just got to keep things digestible for your team, right? And come up with a system that is going to work for everybody. And then also,
Totally.
you have to do the homework in your mind of visualizing the field and making sure that you understand the counterbalanced effect of the opposite mirror that we got going on. So just you have to really do a lot of solid mental work. And I know
Yeah.
Marcelo talks about this all the time is, you know, the if this then that, and also just viewing the field as a picture in your mind and understanding the way that the cadence of the field is going to go. Because once you start to, you know, after the first weekend of play, everyone's starting to see the rhythm of the way the field is maturing and the way that people are moving on it. So you got to really weigh that out and then come up with a system that's digestible and that works for everybody. And everybody should have their input. You know, everybody put their input in, we weigh it all out, and then we come up with what we think is the most efficient system possible. And that's what it comes down to is efficiency, making sure that we are digesting information quickly so that we can make the right moves out there. And if you're doing that, you're going to have a good chance of you know, we talk about painting a picture in your mind and seeing this thing so that you can make good decisions. And that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, 100%, Ty. And you know, we keep bringing up, you know, how to talk about the field. So I'll just kind of give some examples here. For us, you know, obviously we decided that this was going to be, for our guys, this is the snake side, right? We considered this the snake, that spot right there, and obviously you have.
Check out the YouTube. We're on the field right now.
Oh yeah, good call, Ty. Sometimes I forget that that some people are just listening, but this is definitely valuable. And then this is the Dorito side, right? So we decided that when we're talking about the field, we're always going to pretend we're at the start station and we're talking about the opponents, right? So the snake side is actually always to the left for us, and the Dorito side is always to the right. What this means is our snake players need to get orientated and familiar with our Dorito side calls. You know, for example, we have a call on normal traditional mirrored layouts where if somebody's not past, let's say like that temple over there, right? All the way back here. I'm going to fly over here. If this is the widest player on the Dorito side, we call that Comanche, right? So our snake players are going into Dorito players. So they're going to hear the Comanche call, and they needed to train themselves as if they were playing on the Dorito side, right? Because all of our calls were, you know, assuming we're at the start station and we're calling the other team spot. So the snake side, we have, you know, the money, the snake 1, the snake 2, the ghetto. That's all going to be on the left-hand side of the screen. So our Dorito players, go ahead, Ty.
I just want to just make something clear. So you can use, like what you said, you're using your normal code calling system, but it's just flopped.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And everyone just has to be on the same page, right? And the reason we decided to do that is because it's usually shooters that are calling those. And you know, if I'm shooting towards the Dorito side, like it makes sense to, you know, be able to call that and isolate that call, you know, really efficiently, quickly, have no hesitation there. You know, we did give some like lefty and righty names for some of the bunkers. So, you know, those are spots where teams can go to either side of them. So you're never getting confused, right? Like if you have a call that is, you know, Godzilla for like that left little brick right here, right? Mm-hmm. Technically, on your map, that means if your coach says go to Godzilla, you would go to this, right? But then if the back guy is calling Godzilla, he means that one over there.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't want to get confused and get up and think someone's on the other side of you and try to bunker them. So that's like one of the pieces of information that could get scrambled on this field. And that's why, you know, for some of the bunkers, we decided to just, you know, go, you know, with like an L and R type name. And that's maybe something that you guys can implement. It actually is pretty easy. but those are the types of situations where there's confusion. And I recognize that a lot of the lower divisional teams didn't recognize this. Like, I don't see what the problem is. And maybe that's because their communication on the field hasn't reached a level that a lot of the pro teams has. And, a lot of the pro players immediately like, oh, no, these are the issues that can come up. This is why this field was confusing, because, when you tell your snake player, go to the Godzilla, it's right here. Right. But when you're playing, if the other team goes to Godzilla, it's on this side of the field, the left side, the other side of the field. Right. And again, if you're just listening, I recommend that you pull up the YouTube channel because we've got the visuals here. So that's where the confusion can come. And, if you put together another system that eliminates that chance of confusion, that's fine too. Right. The point is you have to come up with some system that eliminates the possibility of confusion for your attackers. When they're up far in the spot, you don't want them to think that somebody's on the other side of them. Right. Yeah. And it was important for our snake players to realize, like, hey, if you're in like the 50 snake, this is 50 snake right here for us. But if you hear us call 50 snake, he's not in front of you. Yeah. You have to realize that he's on the other side of the field. He's over on this left side here. Right. So you really just have to get oriented with that. That takes time. It takes practice mentally, and you really have to familiarize yourself with that orientation and not allow it to become something that causes you to make a big mistake in a big moment.
That's right. Because it very easily could turn out that way. And that's why we're really stressing the importance of doing your homework off the field as well. Stare at that field map, stare at that map, and really dial in the codes that you've come up with your system and your team, and know that every time that you're looking at the field, it's going to be a chore to call out the 50 area. All those 50s are going to be a little bit more of a chore because they're counterbalanced, and it can become very confusing. So just know that center 50 structure is attached with snake beams, and there's 3 of them. Whatever you call that one that's closest to you on the left-hand side is always going to be that. So when you go to the other side and you switch sides of the field, the one that's closest to you, it's not the same bunker, but it's always going to be that call. So really start to dial in the fact that it's going to be a chore to look at that 50 and compartmentalize it and get the right codes out. So do the homework at home and lay out all these codes on the field. Lay out all the intricate calls that you've come up with your team and your system, and really do the homework so that when you get out there, it's second nature and it's processing through your mind really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely, Ty. Let's talk a little bit, and we don't have to go too deep. Both of us are going to be competing here in a couple days, so I understand. But let's give some insight to how the field played at practice for all the divisional teams that are heading out there. Give them a little jump start on their weekend.
I mean, you can attack anywhere on this field, and I think everybody saw that. I've seen a lot of content throughout the interwebs, and it looked that way as well. There's opportunities to take ground everywhere, really. You can press through the middle. There's so many structures in the middle that you can go into. Snake side has a full-length snake that goes all the way to the other end of the field. That's going to be very powerful. The Dorito side has some intricate ways that you can navigate getting into the 50 structures pretty quickly, going into the Doritos. There's a lot of options if you get creative, and it's going to be a very exciting field for people to watch. I really thoroughly believe that this has the potential to have extremely quick points, also has the potential to have extremely drawn out points, and it just depends on the matchups, and the players that are going heads up against each other are going to create some unique circumstances that we'll have to work through.
Yeah, 100%, Ty. I don't know how exciting it's going to be. I'm curious to see how teams play it, because at our practice, again, when you have like 6 to 8 minute points in practice, that's usually not a great sign. But again, maybe it was because it was cold and the weather wasn't great and all that kind of stuff. I do think it's going to come down to off the break shooting. So for us, there were multiple points where we either lost 2 bodies on the break or we shot 2 bodies on the break, and it was, even going to this interior spot right here on the Dorito side for your team. If we're speaking again, if you're watching, I'm walking out to my team's Dorito side of the field. So that Aztec, that's a little further than the other one. The snake one's a little bit closer. Still had some success shooting that.
It reminds me of like 05 NXL getting to this temple. Like, remember how
This one right here
it was
at the left side?
Yeah.
You better run and dive.
Yeah.
You better run and dive. Yeah, 100%. You know, interestingly, we found that it was probably safer to go past that than just going to this interior spot. But you know, once teams dial in the shots, I think there's great shots on both sides of the field. I think it's going to be hard to make the snake insert Dorito over here. There are ways to shoot that. There's multiple ways to shoot that. The snake corner can is really difficult to make. So, you know, if it's tough to make both those spots and you're forcing teams to go to the little W and the small temple over here, it's going to make it hard for them to get into that power structure, which is the snake. You know, right-handed in the snake is really dominant on this field, especially if the other team's not wide on the Dorito side, right? So if they're not wide on the Dorito side, which is right in front of you over here, and you get in here, you can just crawl all the way down and start wrapping and doing some damage. But if it's hard for both teams to get in there, and that's the side to really attack from, I think you could see some longer points, some slower points. And then maybe the attack is going to have to come up through the middle. However, we did see, and you can see here on your screen, the middle looking Dorito way isn't too great unless you shoot that temple off the break and then you get up here right away. Then you could really lock off this side of the field. But you're putting a lot of eggs in the basket of actually shooting that guy and then being up here to capitalize on that quick enough. Snake side, though, it's a little better because you can get in here and you can see that you can completely shut down the move from the snake insert bunker into the snake if you can keep them out of there on the break. And what's interesting about this middle is usually when you go up here, if there's only one side that's good, both players will be playing the same side. You know, so if someone's on the other side of this thing, they would be right in front of me, and then you can you just joust heads up, or you go around the other way. But on this field, obviously, you'll be playing this side, shutting down the snake, and then you can kind of assume if they're up there with you, they're going to be on the other side, shutting down your snake. Mm-hmm. So it makes this move. You know, you can see what's in front of you. If you pick up the first kill here of somebody trying to go into the snake, and you know someone's on the other side of you, you just come right around, bunker this center 50 player, and then now you're in bonus territory. If you don't get shot, amazing. You know, you're in bonus land. If you do get shot, you just got a little 2-pack. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm just curious because, again, that type of play obviously makes the field slow down quite a bit, you know, when you realize that there's somebody in the center that's going to be holding those lanes, and if you can't make it on the break. But, dude, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a field, even been at practice, and I'm like, you know, it's going to be so hard to make this spot. And then you get to the tournament and people are making it, right? For whatever reason, people are making it. So it's going to come down to, you know, how well people are dialed in on the shots. You know, I think a team like the Russians can be really, really good on this field because they're so good at shooting those interior spots. They're so good at picking on, you know, who they want to eliminate off the break. So if they, you know, do that, I know they've been out in Las Vegas training since the layout dropped. They had another practice yesterday. We were going to have J-Rab on the show, but I guess his practice went a little late. He said sometime after the event. So that'll be exciting. It'll be really cool to get him back on PTG since making the move. And, you know, we'll see how they do. I think they're going to have a really, really good showing this weekend.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to find out here in just a couple days. This episode will be dropping today, I believe, on Wednesday. So we got a couple days out from the event. And then I think we should dive into the Summit Awards. If you have not got your tickets, you need to score those. You need to head on over to MajorLeaguePaintball.com. It's going to be a party. There's going to be an amazing award show going on. And it's at, what's the name of the pool?
Azilo.
Yeah.
Azilo.
Yep. And that is going to be that's at the Sahara as well.
That's at the Sahara. Yep. 100%. So everything is at the Sahara Sunday night. Doors open at 7 p.m. The award show starts at 7:30 p.m. There is no food there. So I want to warn everybody. It was a project for them to be able to do food, and the prices I was hearing, it's like that insane. So none of us would have even wanted them to have food there. I promise you that. So make sure you eat before. And the The NXL awards start at, or the Summit Awards, I think they're called, starts at 7:30. And then the Hall of Icons, I believe, starts at 8, something like that. And then the main awards start around 8:30. So I know they're going to try to get it through everything kind of quick so that, everybody can go to having a good time and enjoy the players party there and just kind of mingle and have some beverages. They will have cabanas too. I think there's only 10 of them. I know that I had already reserved one. There we have a PTG one. Shout out to Pate. He's going to be there as well. So I know like 4 or 5 of them are already taken. Pretty sure David Montgomery from the Lions is going to be there. He has a cabana as well. Really excited to introduce paintball to him. We had him on the show before the start of this last NFL season. He had just gotten into paintball. Shout out to, Scotty from Will Ball for Soup. He was the one that introduced him out in that field's in Arizona, right? That he was at.
That's right. And then I guess he told him that I was in the area, and then he messaged me, and that's how the whole thing came to life of having
amazing
PTG.
Yeah. I mean, that was just an incredible episode, and really cool to have, an athlete like that interested in our sport. And he will be there as well. So my point is, there's probably limited. The cabanas might even already be sold out, but they're $1,000. Each cabana comes with 8 tickets to the event. Tickets are only $15 anyway, so that's not a huge deal. But it will save you a little bit on tickets, and it comes with 1 bottle of your choice. So pretty cool to have a cabana, because it doesn't look like there's a ton of great seating outside of that. It's a lot of stand-up cocktail kind of tables. It's meant to be, something that you're kind of on your feet, you're moving around, mingling, stuff like that. They got a few different bars at the pool party area. And so if you guys have not gotten your tickets, you can book cabanas, or you can go to majorleaguepaintball.com and get your tickets, or you can also get them at the event. If you're already in Vegas, don't want to do it online, the NXL booth will have tickets to the award show Sunday night. And I just, honestly, I can't stress this enough. Don't miss this. Just don't miss it. This is one of the coolest things paintball has put together in a long, long time. Paintball players are always talking about, hey, how can we grow the sport? Why aren't we on ESPN? Why aren't we on this? Well, this has the ability to be something incredibly cool. But what we don't want, because Go Sports is going to be there filming, we're going to be getting a lot of content, a lot of media, because they want to showcase this. This is something that highlights, the best in the sport, the pinnacle of the sport in all aspects, players, field owners, all sorts of, organizations. We don't want it to look like nobody's there, right? It's all about numbers. We want the media to look really good around this. We want the league to be able to continue to do something like this, because it legitimizes what we do. It legitimizes the sport. So if we have something that is showcasing and highlighting all of the greatness we have within the sport, we need people to show up, right? We need people to be there. We need people to show up. It's $15. If you have an early flight Monday morning, it's Vegas. Go straight from the party to the airport. That's what you're supposed to do in Vegas. So, I look forward to seeing everybody there. Shout out to all the PTG listeners. If you are, please come say what up to Ty and myself. We'll be hanging, and we want to meet everybody. So I just please show up, support.
Yeah, let's show out. And speaking of PTG supporters, we're going to be giving away a couple of tickets in the PTG World chat, in the players chat. So stay tuned for that. I know I have a couple tickets, some extra tickets, because if you're nominee, I think you get some tickets. I had already bought some, so I'm just going to give mine away. And,
dope, Ty.
Somebody
Sweet.
will be winning those. All right, so stay tuned in the chat. If you haven't already joined the chat, go to ptgpodcast.com, click the Patreon link, and we would appreciate all the love over there. It's a lot of fun. We've got hundreds of people popping off, and especially during tournament time, it goes crazy in the chats. People are talking about all the breaking news, the moves, the current rumors, all these crazy things that are happening at the tournament. It's all going down in the chat rooms in PTG World. So please head over there, support that, and then also support Great American Paintball. There is an amazing paintball magazine that is coming out, spearheaded by Alex Frazier and many others who have worked on this project with him. But if you have the means to, please support print paintball. Go to greatamericanpaintballmag.com and subscribe to that. I think they're doing 2 a year, and you can get the first ever Great American Paintball magazine, and they'll be having another one dropping later on in the season as well.
Yeah, Ty, great call. I actually saw the proof this last week, and Alex had a
no
copy.
way.
Yeah, and it was incredible. It is so well done. It is something you absolutely want. I got my subscription a while ago.
Me too.
It's you know, if it's not your thing, I get it, but you might not even realize that it's your thing, you know, because I know a lot of kids these days, they're not used to magazines or print. Having something in your hands like this, of this quality, is amazing. It brings back a lot of memories. It kind of immortalizes moments in the game, and just a really cool thing that Alex is doing. So yes, definitely, if you guys have not, you don't want to miss out. Make sure you go and get yours. Gap Paintball, GAPPAINTBALL.com. Get subscribed, because yeah, they're dope. And I think there will be 2 this year. There's going to be this version and then one right around World Cup time.
Dang, you already got to see it? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go through the whole thing. He was kind of, a lot of people wanted to see it, but he showed me some pages, and dude, it's amazing.
Man, I'm stoked. I can't wait.
Me too.
I already know him and his whole crew have been just cooking up. In media in general have just been slaying it.
100%.
Yeah.
Man, Ty. Well, I know. Do you guys have practice today? What do you guys got going on today?
I think we're just going to be doing some like field work, getting everything dialed in, going out, and I think we'll try to get to the field as well, take a look at the layout. Hopefully they'll have some stuff up. Just being around the tournament and getting ready for Friday, getting ready for the event. We have practice tomorrow, so we'll be out at the field running around there as well, and we're looking forward to it.
What time and who are you playing tomorrow?
I think we have Impact, and I can't remember who else we're playing in that second slot. I think it'll be around 10 to 12, somewhere in there, and we'll be running around getting some reps.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, we're at 2 p.m. We've got New York Extreme and the Ironmen, so if anybody wants to come out and watch, say what up. We'll be out there. We're only an hour, though, so we've got, from 2 to 3.
And then did the New York squad pick up Patty Gleason? Is that the rumor that I've been hearing?
That's the rumor. Yeah, I saw someone say that he's rostered with them. That's a great pickup if they did.
Absolutely. I was just talking to Patty. He's such an amazing guy, just on and off the paintball field, everything he does for the community. He's got his own brand as well, Off the Leash, and he does training for paintball players. So if you ever need some help getting your physicality right, Patty is the man. He's really hungry, works his butt off, and I'm stoked to see him at the events. I was worried that I wasn't going to see him at some paintball events, but it sounds like he's going to be there. Yeah,
same, dude. No, I'm excited to see him out there. And it is a phenomenal pickup, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Fills that Thomas role pretty well. Ty, what do you say we give an attempt at the old crib style? If we lose you, we lose you. We'll see you in a couple days, but let's give it a shot. Let's cruise around. I want to see this compound 16 bedroom house you've got. You muted yourself. You're muted. Okay. All right.
Step 1.
Here we go. Step 1. We got him. Unmute.
Okay.
All right. We got him.
So
yo, what? What? Why do you have so many TVs
I'm
in
on
there?
the stage right now. I was at the DJ area.
Dude.
DJing.
What? Oh my God, bro. That is sick.
It seems out of place. I don't know what it's doing here.
Well, no, it all completely makes sense. That is the strip club. Ty, you're not at a house. You're at the strip club. You're at Spearmint Rhino. What are you doing, bro?
Okay.
You're a married man.
Oh my God.
Oh, muted again. Muted. He's got it. Oh, the mic. Oh, here we go. We'll get him back here in a second.
How about now?
We got you.
Okay, we're back. You can't drop the mic. That's rule number 1.
Until you're done.
Yeah.
You drop the mic when you're done.
Okay. Now we're on the move. Coming out into the kitchen here.
Damn, 9 o'clock. Okay, all right. We'll keep it down. Yo, what? This place is incredible. Were those slot machines?
Those are TVs. They're everywhere.
Oh my God. Pool table.
We've got the pool table. We've got a wild Sam Monville rummaging about. He's rummaging the
there he is.
The snack
God. Sam God.
Snack time.
Sam God.
Snack time. We got the kitchen area. There's another little, I don't know, this is where we do some eating out here. And then the outside, this is where it gets crazy.
Uh-oh. We lost him. We lost him. We lost him.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. We got him back.
okay.
Kinda. Dude, the
back.
pool's sick.
We're back at the pool.
This is definitely the most busted version of cribs ever, but it's sick. It's still dope.
Are we lost or are we still alive?
We're live. We're live.
Okay, there's the bar area. This thing's
Dude,
crazy.
wow, this is insane, bro.
We've got some golf. We got some
What?
golf back here. If you want to do some like chipping.
Bro.
Let's see. There's a boxing ring back here in the corner. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah, who's gonna do that?
That's me and yeah. We box every night.
Oof.
We
Oof.
go at it. And then you got the basketball court.
Bro, this is insane.
This is the house. So I'm not sure if you guys still got me here, but that's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
we got you.
You know, we're just rocking and rolling.
Dude,
and
that's dope.
We got the whole family here. It's a really fun environment with everybody just, vibing and getting ready for the tournament.
Awesome, man. Ty, thank you, brother. Everybody listening, make sure to hydrate. Even though it's going to be cool, Vegas is a little dry. Bring your sunscreen, bring your lip balm, all the stuff. Get your brute. Make sure to get your brute. And we'll see you guys here very soon.
Can't wait. Be safe, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Awesome, brother. Peace.
Let's go. Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the orange Patreon link in the corner and support the show. We greatly appreciate it. We have tiers as low as $1.99 a month. That is nothing, guys, and it'll give you access to the Discord where you get access to the players chat and get to mingle with the entire PTG community. We have tons of different pros in there. Tyler and myself are very active, and it's an amazing way to support the show. We also have amazing other tiers. If you want to be one of the best, want to be a GOAT, sign up for the GOAT tier. It's the greatest way to support us. And each month we do a private live stream show, one-on-one kind of thing, to where it's just the GOATs, and Tyler and myself will bring in some special guests every now and then, but you get to ask us questions in real time, live on the air, and you get lots of inside juicy news that we don't share on the show. So, as always, we will see you guys very soon.